My name is Ethan, and this happened when I was a sophomore in college. After my freshman year, I didn't get a dorm, so I had to scramble to find off-campus housing. I ended up in a co-op that was part of a three-house community. It wasn't ideal, but it was cheap, and I had no better options. Plus, I had a bike, so I didn't mind the extra travel time. Most residents were students like me, but some were older. Alumni, TAs, or people getting their degrees later in life. One person stood out, an older woman living in another house. She looked to be in her late 50s, though she seemed older. She had graying hair, a slight limp, and always wore a blank expression. She was quiet and kept to herself. No one explained who she was, and I didn't ask. The first time I saw her acting strangely was in our kitchen. She wasn't eating, cooking, or talking, just standing there silently watching as we made dinner and talked. I caught her staring at me a few times, and though I knew it was probably nothing, I couldn't shake the feeling she was watching me specifically. A few days later, I was in my room when I saw her again, standing in the middle of the street, staring up at my window. It was late and cold, yet she remained there. I hesitated but ended up waving at her. Instantly, I regretted it. She didn't wave back. Instead, she jumped up and down like she was excited, then ran toward one of the other houses. That night, I asked a housemate about her. He told me she had always been there and that it was best to ignore her, like everyone else did. When I pressed for details, he admitted he knew nothing beyond what someone had told him when he moved in. That didn't sit well with me, so I kept asking. Eventually, a senior from her house told me she was connected to the university, a little eccentric, but not dangerous. He said they couldn't control who lived there since it was up to the property manager. Then things got worse. One night, I nearly ran into her. She was standing outside my door. I jumped back, startled. It was past midnight and the house was silent. She didn't react, just turned and walked away like I was the one intruding. I won't list every moment, but I kept catching her in places she shouldn't be. Then I lost my room key. The houses had once been a hotel, so each room had a personal lock. Most people left their doors unlocked, but I wasn't comfortable with that. Losing my key was a big deal. I had a spare, but replacing it was an unnecessary hassle. A few nights later, I woke up to a soft bumping noise coming from my closet. It repeated every 20 seconds, like something shifting inside. I don't scare easily, but I wasn't going to ignore this. I got out of bed, took a deep breath, and walked to the closet, my heart racing. In one swift motion, I yanked the door open and screamed. She was in there. She had one of my ties wrapped around her neck and was clutching a kitchen knife. My scream startled her, and before I could react, she lunged at me. This time, my scream was real, pure terror. I wrestled her to the ground and managed to disarm her. She fought wildly, kicking, biting, and screaming. I yelled for help, and soon my friend Jason helped me pin her down while someone called the police. The rest of the night was a blur. The cops arrived quickly and arrested her. She had stopped screaming but refused to speak. When they searched her, they found my missing key. A few weeks later, we got answers. She was the property manager's sister. Instead of getting her the care she needed, he had secretly let her stay in an empty room. She had severe issues, and he had completely neglected his responsibility. He was later arrested for negligence. Honestly, I blame him far more than I blame her. If anything, I feel bad for her. But my sympathy doesn't erase the fact that she tried to kill me. That night could have been the end of my life. I graduate soon, and while I'll miss college, I know I'll never be able to look back without remembering that night.